Captain's log, subdate 200902.8. We are about to enter an area of space more commonly known as Cacopolis Beta. The journey through this region should take a while, so we have changed all the bulbs on this ship to blue alert. Welcome everyone to the Halls of Injustice. Today we have quite an interesting subject to go through. Before we start, tonight I'm going to be playing some Fishing Barents Sea on Twitch. If you're at all interested in joining for some casual chit-chat and fishing, then please consider swinging by. My Twitch channel is linked in the description down below. So today's perp, or inmate at this point, is Kellie Louise Smith, a 28-year-old former teaching assistant at a high school in Coventry, where she taught for 3 years and was on occasion charged with operating the school minibus. Because this is semi-important to understanding the end part of this, she is also a mother of one. Kellie Louise Smith, while operating the school minibus, exchanged some flirty banter with one of the students, who at the time was 15. This escalated over a period of time to the point where she would also shower him with extra attention and bring him sweets. Sounds like grooming, doesn't it? You're right. Kellie Louise Smith would on occasion also pick him up and take him to Coventry. For obvious reasons, this young man can't be named, so it's going to be a tad tricky to fully articulate certain aspects of this. At some point during this exchange of flirty banter, the young man was given her phone number, which was how he managed to make the phone call to get her to pick him up. While driving around Nuneaton, they stopped at a petrol station, where she then went on to buy him Rizla. That's the paper thing I think people use for those smoky, less fun time things. He at the time told his friends that she was fit, and that they'd already had sex in her car. This, by the way, is known because it was given to us by the prosecutor courtesy of evidence obtained from phones. Not long after, they left and went to Coventry and collected cocaine, with her taking it in his presence, which she did in fact understandably obviously test a little positive for when she was arrested not long after what happened next. After dropping off 2 other boys, the couple then went to a Holiday Inn Express, where they then spent the night, where they not only partook in a little alcohol, some cannabis, a bit of cocaine, but also some statutory rape, twice. Now, it was in the article referenced as having sex with a pupil aged 15. I've decided to alter this to the correct terminology. I have on multiple occasions referenced my disdain at the criminal justice system and the intellectual dishonesty of journalists who incorrectly label this when the victim in this is a boy. I will, of course, for the sake of it now reference, had this been the other way round, i.e. male teacher, female student, which has in fact happened in the past, the sentence is a lot harsher, and it is not referenced as sex with, but rape of. A dynamic needs to shift, because honestly, I'm getting sick of constantly having to correct inaccurate articles. The next morning, Kellie Louise Smith returned the boy to his home and went about her merry way and never made contact with the boy ever again. At that same time, though, the boy's mother and aunt reported the boy as missing, which then led to the police eventually, courtesy of CCTV footage, finding out where he had gone because he had not indicated what had happened until an arrest was made. Shortly after, a complaint was understandably lodged with the police and the school. When the defendant, Kellie Louise Smith, was first spoken to by the police on March 29th, 2019, she denied seeing him out of hours. This, by the way, is a quote from Rebecca Wade, the prosecutor, and I'm going to continue her quote. She was shown a screenshot of him in her car, and then she admitted she had been with him. CCTV footage was obtained from the hotel of them at the desk together, with the victim's DNA found in the knickers. The victim said he felt guilty at the time and felt as if he had done something wrong. He said he was not spiteful and he knew she would get in trouble. He said, "I feel the teachers are giving me dirty looks and I don't want to go. I want this all over with and I want it finished." The victim in this did say to the police that he in fact consented to the sexual activity, as is referenced in the article, but it is not that, is it, with the teacher. This may well have played a part with the diminished sentence, which we'll get to momentarily. Kellie Louise Smith's defender, Andrew Tucker, said that his client had let herself down and was stupid to begin a sexual relationship with the 15-year-old. It's not what it's called, but sure. Saying that these incidents occurred when she was at a low ebb. She has overcome through her own hard work very many of those setbacks. Her own stupid actions 18 months ago now could impact on her daughter. Kellie Louise Smith pleaded guilty to 2 offences of sexual activity with a child under 16 at the Warwick Crown Court. And obviously by extension she was found guilty of both counts. When sentencing, the recorder Martin Butterworth told her she had abused the trust placed in her by the school and her victim's parents, saying that the victim was in your care. You had received the appropriate training for vulnerable children. He caught your eye, and there was grooming behaviour from you towards him. The fact accepted by the prosecution is that he consented, and you weren't abusing him against his will. Makes no difference at all to the fact you took advantage of a vulnerable child to satisfy your own sexual needs. Over many hours, you groomed him with trips in your car, and you provided him with alcohol, and you were treating him as a potential partner. He is a child, and you abused your trust and him. I think it's pretty obvious now where we're going to be going with this, because the sentence kinda can come across as a little weak and kinda not, depending on how you look at it, considering she's been waiting for this for 18 months. Had they kept her on remand, she'd be out already, because the sentence was 32 months. 18 months of that is spent on licence, so she'll only be in prison for 18 months. She is also subject to a sexual harm prevention order. During this series, we have spoken about sexual harm prevention orders many times. They are basically kept on the person at the discretion of the court. No doubt she'll keep it for 5 years and resume life, air quotes, as if nothing ever happened. One of the key issues that does come from this, though, is who will be looking after her child and how this will impact her relationship with her child when she is released. That is, of course, a concern for her. I know many people who watch these videos, and I've spoken about these kind of subjects before, say, but he's a boy. And many boys his age would do anything to bang their teacher. You're right. My teacher was really hot and I wouldn't have said no. However, it is still a crime for a reason. It is a crime. I'm somewhat surprised the additional charges didn't include supplying alcohol. I'm surprised it didn't reference drugs, because those are crimes. But I guess since they only had to make one charge stick and they got 2, it doesn't really matter too much. And in reality, it doesn't matter if the boy consented. It is still against the law for a reason. So for me, a 3-year sentence, almost in fact, is fine. If she stays in prison for 3 years, it is not my responsibility to think of the damage done to the relationship between her and her daughter, because that is already going to be damaged for 18 months. She can then do 18 months on licence and be on a register for a while. With what we've discussed here, I'd love to know what you think. What do you think about the sentence, and of course how this has been handled by media and the courts? Please do let me know in the comments down below. As a final thing, there is a new video on Moisky Live. And if I don't see you tonight on Twitch, have a fantastic Wednesday, and thank you all for listening.